Man, what's good, YouTube, man? We gonna keep the introduction short and sweet, man. Welcome to the channel, man. In this video, man, we gonna be covering Egghead, try to catch up to One Piece. You know, Egghead is being animated currently, and I think it's about time that I see what's going on in the story, because it's like right now, One Piece is in the midst of its renaissance. You got Netflix picking up the live action. You know, there's the whole studio picking up on reanimating the entire series. Oda right now is on a GOAT run comparable to New England Patriots. Like, he just been dropping straight heat for 24 years. And then now, it's like One Piece is at its peak and you still on, and the story still long from being over. You know, you got other series like, no disrespect to MHA, but you got other series, they've been in the kitchen heating up. Just like they burnt the food. Because I can't even follow what's going on in MHA right now. It's so hard to keep up with. You know, JJK, you know, I haven't read it yet, but it's like, it's so hyped right now. He's the only person, Gege Akutama, the only person that's pretty much having a team deathmatch rivalry with Oda is pretty much the GOAT anime creator of 2024. Like, when it comes to these two at this point, we just expect nothing but greatness. Like, we expect the page to be set ablaze every time they put a pen in the pad. Like, they just been going on this legendary run. And minus all the ass pulls and plot holes, like, most of everything in them two people's story are set up from, like, the beginning. Like, we don't have to worry about the overarching villain of the entire story, the Gorosei turning into fetuses or babies. I'm looking at you, MHA and Demon Slayer. Two fight series that I will be covering in a later date. Y'all like and comment if y'all want to see that. But y'all have to admit, it was kind of melodramatic seeing the end of them villains. For that setup, we headed to Egghead in chapter 1061, titled Island of the Future, where we see the cover page, German 66 and Caesar the Clown still trying to book it out of Whole Cake Island. Which is crazy because at like this point, Whole Cake was years ago and we was in Wano for like 3 years. So how long are these people in real life storyline, timeline, was in the midst of escaping? Like 5 days and 5 nights? And why they ain't dead? I know Caesar the Clown, he must feel like relief at this point. Like he cheated death. He feel like Queso.
Been dead. All this money on my head, I supposed to been dead. Big bad head.
Back to the chapter. The chapter starts off when the last one ended, where the Straw Hats was pretty much trying to save this little girl that was stuck in this monsoon looking thing. And the first thing little girl says is like, oh, we're saved. And then she asks, where does that monster go? Where is it? That's when all the Straw Hats' attention get brought to what I could only assume to be a goddamn megalodon under their ship. You know, that prehistoric sea beast that Jaws inspired after, that thing attempts to try to make a tasty morsel out of the Straw Hat ship, the Sunny, which they narrowly avoid. And that's when it's pointed out by Zora, of all people, that it's made out of metal, so it's a robot megalodon. At that moment, Jinbei tells Frankie to take the helm as he prepares to dive in the ocean and rescue Luffy and the girl that fell into the water. Frankie proceeds to take the helm, and that's when he activates a new attachment from the Sunny's inventory, Rabbit Screw Propeller, in an attempt to make a swift getaway from the Robo-Megalodon. To no avail, because that's when the Megalodon proceeds to up a rocket launcher like Rondo number 9 and sends a volley at the Straw Hat crew. Causes huge explosions which nearly capsized the crew, but they narrowly escaped from. Sends the whole crew flying into the water, which is a problem because most of them for the sink like anvils due to their devil fruit ability. That's when the absolute GOAT arrives, Jinbei, what they say nowadays being the absolute Chad, arrives on the scene and saves the whole crew. I said it like that because I actually don't know any Chads, but besides the point, this is the GOAT, Jinbei. You know, that's why I like him. Not because of this reason, because we already witnessed him be a fishman life preserver for Luffy the entire Marineford War, but because he like the older dad of the crew, he always does to say them. He's super consistent. Like, he always swooping in like Clark Kent to save the crew all the time and every time, and you gotta respect it. Shout out Jinbei. After Jinbei's done saving Bonnie and those of the crew with devil fruit abilities from sinking to the Bikini Bottom, they surface, and that's when he notices that they're stuck in a current with tremendous force, so much so that it would be impossible to steer the Sunny in it. And on top of that, it appears that the Robo-Megalodon is still on the prowl, hoping to turn the Straw Hats in their ship into a tasty afternoon snack. As it appears that it's about to succeed, the Megalodon spots something, and we get to look at what appears to be a giant robot mech coming and Falcon punch the living hell out of this Megalodon shark robot. Which honestly is a shocker in my opinion, because I mean the chapter is called Island of the Future, but what future is the world of One Piece heading towards, where you have mech robots coming to blows with prehistoric sea beasts? Times like this where you got a question, is this the same story about a pirate and his crew trying to search for the ultimate treasure? But I digress. When the chapter switches gears and we head to Naval Base G14, where we meet back up with Tashigi and the giant kids that the Straw Hats saved for Punk Hazard. And that's when Tashigi is greeted by Vice Admiral Dahl, who asks for her help dealing with her Meppo, who's been pestering her. But Tashigi explains that she will also be no help, seeing as Captain Kobe's life is in danger, and that's his best friend. As we cut to see her Nepo crying and begging and pleading with the other Marines alongside a new character, Soul member Habare, who's also played alongside her Nepo, stating that she owes Kobe. I respect and I like the character development. Because when we got introduced to Helmeppo, he was nothing more than a weak prick who tried to use his daddy influence to do what the hell he wanted. He even tried to get Zoro smoked and executed. And now after all these years, he trying to slide about Kobe. You gotta love the character development. That's when we get a look at the person Helmeppo is actually pleading to. Another sword member and rear admiral named Prince Garus. We have Garus trying to explain to Helmeppo, you pretty much want us to take on a suicide mission because you want us to head to Hachinosu, the pirate island belonging to Blackbeard, home of an emperor of the sea. Said emperor being the only man in history with the power of 2 devil fruits, one of those being the Gura Gura fruit, I hope I said it right, or the Quake Quake fruit that has the power to destroy the world. I can understand his reservation because you pretty much have Meppo asking me to throw my life away. Me alongside my whole unit. Even try to see if it's possible if they take a Seraphim along with them, but they still like not having it. They trying to get in contact with Rear Admiral Drake, you know, the pirate from the first generation who we now know is a Marine and a part of Soul.
Honestly, he mid. I don't really see him accomplish nothing.
That's when we cut back to the Straw Hats, namely Luffy's group, who's conversing with Pirate Bonnie, fellow member of the first generation, who's dumbfounded that Luffy does not know her. She even mentions how she was at Sabaody 2 years ago. Pretty much Luffy being Luffy, her not knowing our boy could give a flying F about the news. Like, his MO is pretty much going in any situation being completely uninformed. Bonnie goes on to thank our boy for quote-unquote saving our bacon from the monsoon when she was trapped in. As she should, because if it wasn't for him, the only island she was going to be visiting is that one in the sky Ace Roger and Whitebeard chilling on. Bonnie continues and she asks Luffy the question, is this true that he's actually an emperor now? And also, what's the deal with his wanted poster? Like, isn't his hair supposed to be white? Referencing, of course, his new transformation into Gear 5, the awakening of his Gum Gum fruit to the Sun God Model Nika fruit. Just a relatively unknown person when it comes to the world of One Piece, when it comes to the majority of the masses. Most of the people probably just assume my boy dipped his hair in some white hair dye. You know what's funny to think about? The fact that Luffy does have fans who are currently kids around the world in One Piece, and they will like try to emulate him. Like Zoro, you know Zoro got him a fan base out there, so it's funny to think about like there's gonna be kids out there trying to dip their hair white to look like the Sun God, not even knowing, even saying that entity's name in the world of One Piece will get you sent down the express lane straight to hell. Like, you will become a slave in less than 3 to 5 business days if you know that name, let alone looking like him. Back to the chapter, Luffy goes on to answer Bonnie's question in a super vague way only us readers will probably understand. He states that that's how he looks when he feels most free. Of course, confusing the hell out of Bonnie, but she just continues to ask Luffy, isn't he worried about his crew? But with this being business as usual for the Straw Hats, he just retorts with, it'll be alright. As the group continues to draw off, it's then brought to everyone's attention that all their stomachs touching their backs. I mean, Bonnie starving, Luffy starving, Chopper starving. I mean, Jinbe okay, but everyone else starving like Marvin. Luffy brings up the idea that they probably should go look for a restaurant, irritating Bonnie, who then reveals they won't be finding any food joints on this island because this island named Egghead is a government-owned island and research lab of the Dr. Vegapunk. It's then we cut back to the other Straw Hats who are currently still located on the Sunny, and we see the Sunny is being lifted out of the sea by the huge Met robot we last seen Falcon punch the shark, shocking everyone, well except Usopp and Frankie, who seem excited. It's then we see a cockpit open up and what appears to be a woman comes out already in dialogue. He says, this won't do at all. It's another failure. I wonder why. Perhaps overriding primal desires is simply impossible. Utterly vexing. Not knowing what she's talking about, Frankie just offers such gratitude for saving them and asks who she is. The woman just continues her dialogue, saying she ordered the mecha shark to scout, report, and fire, but it keeps trying to eat ships, leaving nothing to salvage. She continues to say she must have bungled the programming. Then we get the full body shot of the woman now addressing the Straw Hats saying, forgive me, but did you say save you? Oh, you naive pirates. I work for the government. They call me their scientific genius. Then we get the reveal that the woman in question is the Vegapunk. And honestly, I must say this kind of threw me for a loop because it was always kind of foreshadowed or foretold that he was a man. So I don't know if this is a she-male version or it's just another Vegapunk. I don't understand what's going on, but let's continue to the next chapter. Hope all our questions be answered.